Today we got a question from Kevin about whether or not wrist locks are legit submissions, legit moves, or if you use them, if you're a dirty, cheating wrist locker. His question is because he comes from a traditional martial arts background where he used a lot of wrist locks and learned a lot of them. But in jiu-jitsu right now, he's a white belt, and in his gym, he's not allowed to use them yet. They're not allowed to use wrist locks as a white belt. He talked to his coach though and sort of told him, was kind of asking him about wrist locks, and his coach said, hey, listen, they're good moves. But he says that when he listens to people talk or when he hears people talk, in jiu-jitsu, he says that he gets this feeling that wrist locks are sort of akin to cheating or something. And so he sent me the message, kind of just asking what I told you guys earlier, are they legit submissions? Are they good submissions? Or is it like you're cheating? And so Kevin, thank you for the question, brother. I mean, I'll say right out of the gate, man, I love wrist locks. I think they're really cool submissions. They have a really unique property to them I'll talk about in a second, but I like them a lot. In fact, the very first couple of technique videos that I posted on this channel were wrist locks. And the reason I put the wrist lock videos up there was because I was using them left and right in competitions as a black belt. I was hitting the cow hand, which is the one where you catch the arm here and you put that downward pressure, in different places. A lot of times it's really good. If someone touches your chest, you can bang, you can catch it. And then you also got this gooseneck here, which not everybody's susceptible because some people are very flexible here and they can touch their forearm. But if you get here and you can put that pressure this way and again, you have the elbow secure, you can get the gooseneck. And so I was using those left and right in competition, and I started sharing those on the YouTube channel. And you can also go look at some other matches where I got caught in one. I think it was in 2014 I got caught with a wrist lock. And there's even matches, again, at the highest level, like I think it's Klaudia Collison's. He used it in, I want to say it was 2013 at the Pans, in the finals of the Pans. He caught a wrist lock on someone from the guard. So again, they're legit submissions. Black belts can use them as a standalone submission, and they're legit, 100%. And they have a unique property to them where if you get really good with wrist locks and people know that you're a wrist locker, people get really worried about touching you. Because what happens is if I touch your chest, there's a lot of wrist locks that work off of good grips. Like if you get a good collar grip or if you're setting up to break the guard, there's a lot of wrist locks that work off of those kinds of grips. And what happens is if you begin to attack those wrist locks, even if you don't catch them, even if it was just a good threat, that person's going to reel that hand back. And then if they put that hand back there, if you even motion like you're going to go for that grip, a lot of times they're going to let it go. And so it weakens their grip fighting. So it's a neat thing. You can attack them with as a standalone submission, but you can also use them to strategically control the grips, the grip fighting, by making them worried about ever having their hand in one place too long. So that's a cool thing. Now, as far as them being cheating, right? They're not cheating because you don't possess any sort of advantage over them. You don't have something that someone else doesn't. In baseball, it's cheating to have a cork bat, right? Or a cork in the bat because it makes the ball go further, and not everybody has that. That's cheating. Cheating with a move, well, if we all have that same move, that's not cheating. You just need to develop your defense for it better. But there is a surprising nature to them, because I know exactly what you're talking about when people sort of talk about wrist locks in a dirty way. You'll hear people say prison rules. We say the same stuff at my gym. We'll say prison rules, or, I'll joke around with some of my guys. If I have a fundamental class, I'll say, you know what I like doing better than wrist lock and white belts? Nothing. And that's to imply that there's something dirty about the wrist lock. And there's not. It's just, there's something surprising about when you get caught with a submission. I'll give you an example. So if someone was to roll with me, and they, swept me or got on top of me or whatever, they broke down my position, they isolated my arm, they were smashing me in the face, and they did a submission to me very slowly that I could see coming a mile away, I would get up from that match and be like, man, I just got my butt whooped today. Like, I had nothing for that guy. But if we're rolling, all of a sudden, I get caught with a wrist lock because I left my hand in a place that I shouldn't have. It's not like I got my butt whooped. It was like, man, it snuck up on you. It's even like this sometimes with other submissions, like some different leg locks and even some arm bars and stuff like that. Like Chad, for instance, he has a really quick arm bar, and there was a couple times years ago where he had this really sneaky setup where it caught me by surprise, and I would get caught in the arm bar because I was leaving my arm in a bad spot. And it was one of those things where, he didn't smash me or anything else. It was just caught me in that damn armbar, and I guess maybe that's what it is. It's not cheating, it's sneaky. It's like a sneaky submission because it comes on really fast. Some wrist locks you can catch slowly, but most of them are like these submissions where you leave the hand on there and then the person, boom, they catch them. And so I think it's probably the sneakiness that gives them that sort of, dirty type name, I guess you'd say, or that cheating sort of feel to them. But again, they're not cheating, not at all. So again, the one little thing I wanted to add into this for you, brother, is if you go through the process of importing those wrist locks to your game now, into your jiu-jitsu game, what I would say is be sure to learn how to catch them slow and catch the submission, the position fast, finish slow. So catch fast, finish slow, because when you're doing wrist locks, you don't want to just have to jam them in, especially if you're talking about training partners. If you compete or if it's a fight or something, different situation. But with your training partners, you don't want to just grab something, boom, jam it in there. You want to have good control over it, so this way you can make sure you get the submission, but you don't hurt your training partners, that kind of thing. So just make sure you keep that in mind. So anyway, that's my answer to your brother. They're legit submissions. They're very good. They have a lot of unique sort of things that you can do with them. You can also make it to the point where nobody wants to grab grips on you because they're worried about getting wrist locked. But they're definitely good submissions. They're on the sneakier side of things. So hopefully that answers your question. And guys, I'll talk to you next time.